Hello my dear students, a very good morning to all of you. This is my 10th lecture on Unit 1st, that is the topic relation and function. In the previous videos or the previous classes we have already done about a lot of binary relations as reflexive, symmetric, asymmetric, antisymmetric, identity, etc. So today is the turn of knowing about the transitive relation as well as the equivalence relations. So today we shall be discussing about these two relations which plays a very important role while dealing with this particular chapter, the relation. So let us start with the transitive relation. So before going through the formal definition of transitive relation, let me say something about transitivity. Once you defined the reflexivity of the relation or symmetricity of the relation, what was there in your mind? When we talk about reflexivity, we just pick up any element from the given set and watch or see whether that particular element is related to itself or not. That means if X is related to X, for every X lying in that particular set or the given set, then that would be a reflexive relation. So far as symmetricity is concerned, when we take how many objects? Two objects. They may be same or different. Means what? We are just going to relate A with B under the given relation and watch whether B is related to A or not. Means what? If A is related to B, then it is necessary to see whether B is related to A or not for this with that particular relation. Then it would be symmetry. So we have already understood in a better way about reflexivity as well as the symmetricity. Now so far as the transitivity is concerned, reflexivity contains one element, symmetricity two objects or two elements, and for transitivity we do have or we must have three elements, right? So here we should have suppose three elements A, B and C. So the condition lies for this transitive relation is that if A is related to B and B is also related to C, then we are concerned about watching whether A is related to C or not. Just keep it in your mind that A must be related to B as well as B must be related to C. Only then we will be concerning about observing whether A is related to C or not. In case A is related to B, but there is insufficient data to show that B is not related to C, or B is related to C but A is not related to B, in those cases we shall say that the transitivity is not contradicted. Once there is a contradiction, then we will say that that is not transitive. Suppose I ask you a very simple example, the relation of equality in the set of reals. If A is equal to B and B is equal to C, whether A is equal to C or not, yes, everybody would answer as A is equal to C. So when three elements are related with the relation of equality with each other, we just find that if the first one is related to second and the second one with third, then naturally first and third are related with each other with the same relation. But every time for every relation that is not so. Suppose I talk about the relation in the set of human beings as is a father of. So if A is a father of B and B is a father of C, whether A is a father of C or not? No. No one can say that A would be a father of C. Undoubtedly, A would be a grandfather of C. So the same relation, whatever was defined between AB as well as BC, the same relation cannot be defined between A and C. So in this case, transitivity is contradicted and hence this is not transitive. So this is all we are going to talk about for the day. So just watch, I have written the definition on the board. You may be noting it down. Very simple definition is there that I've just read it for you only. A relation R on A, that is R is a subset of A cross A, is called a transitive relation if and only if XY belongs to R as well as YZ belongs to R, and that implies XZ belongs to R. You may be writing in this way also that X is R related to Y and Y is also R related to Z. This implies X is R related to Z. So far as X, Y, Z elements are concerned, they are taken from the given set A. So if this particular property holds true, then we say that the given relation is transitive, and otherwise that is not transitive. Again, I have just given a note over there. R is still transitive if xy is there in R, but yz is not there in R. Means what? X is related to y, but y is not related to z. In that case, we don't have any, what is that, element for challenging the transitivity, whether it is a transitive or not. So in that case, due to benefit of doubt, we say that this is a transitive relation. Again, if xy is not there, let there be yz in R. No matter, we are not concerned about finding xz in that particular relation. So in these two cases also, you will be finding that due to the shortage of insufficient data, we cannot challenge the transitivity, and hence we say that that is a transitive relation. Because, or that, I mean to say that in these two cases, transitivity is not contradictory. Now I just recite you a few examples to make you understand it clearly, so that you should not have any doubt about this one. So let us consider some example now. Now just see the examples, whatever I have just written over here. The first example I am giving, we have considered the set of reals R, and some relations have been defined over the set of reals. The first one is the relation of equality, as we had discussed in the previous lectures also. The relation of less than, relation of greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. In the second example, I have taken the set L of lines in xy plane and defined two relations, the relation of parallelism as well as perpendicularity. So one by one we are going to discuss about these relations, whether they are transitive or not. Afterwards we shall be giving some more examples also to make you understand clearly. Anyways, so you have to check it out with the logic by taking three elements or three real numbers whatsoever. So if I say that A is equal to B and B is equal to C, now you just say me whether A is equal to C or not. So for example, if I say that 1 by 2 is equal to 2 by 4 and 2 by 4 is equal to 3 by 6, naturally 1 by 2 is equal to 3 by 6. So you may be saying that this concept that A must be equal to C. So if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, naturally A and C would be equal. I must say that you will be surprised to know that all these 5 relations are transitive relations. So far as reflexivity and symmetricity are concerned, only for reflexivity, the first one, that means the relation of equality, as well as the last two means the relation of less than or equal to, as well as the relation of greater than or equal to. They were reflexive. So far as symmetricity is concerned, only the first one, the relation of equality, was the symmetric relation. The other 4 were not symmetric. But if we talk about the transitive relation, undoubtedly all of them are transitive relations. A very simple, I mean to say, logic or simple argument is there to show that whether these relations are transitive or not. So just watch. If A is equal to B, suppose I say that A is equal to B and B is equal to C. So just go on watching whether A is equal to C or not. So this implies A is equal to C. Same logic can be given like this: A is less than B and B is less than C. Naturally, A will be less than C, because if I say taking age into account between 3 persons, if Ram is less than Shyam and Shyam is less than Mohan, according to their age, then naturally Ram would be less than Mohan. So the same concept we have used for the real numbers also. So if one real number, suppose 2 is less than 5 and 5 is less than 10, naturally 2 is what? Less than 10. So this also holds true. Same argument can be given for greater than also. Means what? If A is greater than B and B is greater than C, naturally A would be what? Greater than C. Right? Again, for less than or equal to, A is less than or equal to B and B is less than or equal to C, then A will be either less or equal to C. And similarly for the last one, if A is greater than or equal to B and B is greater than or equal to C, then what you conclude? That a relation, the same relation can be established in between the first one and the last one. That means A and C, and that will be what? A is greater than or equal to C. So by simple logic we can very well say that these 5 relations over the set of reals are transitive relations. Now we just proceed towards the second example, whatever I have just inserted over there. The set of lines have been taken and 2 relations, whatever I told you earlier, that have been taken. So just think very normally. If 2 lines are parallel, that relation is being held in this particular set L. So if L1 is parallel to L2, suppose, and L2 is parallel to L3. Now by the concept of simple geometry, you can say that the first line must be parallel to the third line. Suppose these 2 lines are there, they are parallel. I just hold this one. A is parallel to B, one finger is there, and B is parallel to C. Naturally, what happens? What is the relation between A and C? They are parallel to each other. So this relation is what? Also transitive. So all these relations are transitive, and this first relation is also transitive because this one, L1 is parallel to L2 and L2 is parallel to L3. So what does this imply? That L1 is parallel to L2. Now so far as the last example is concerned, how can you interpret it? Here the relation provided is the relation of perpendicularity between 2 lines. So the L1 and L2 are the pair element, that is that the components of the elements in R, where L1 is perpendicular to L2. The relation of perpendicularity is defined over here. So you just go on taking 3 lines, whatever we had told that we have to consider 3 objects. So if we take 3 lines, suppose L1, L2 and L3. So I am just considering 3 lines, L1, L2, this is L1, this is L2. It is given that L1 is perpendicular to L2. And if we say that L2 is perpendicular to what? L3. So this is. So is L1 perpendicular to L3? No, naturally L1 and L2 are looking parallel, and in fact they are parallel. They cannot be perpendicular to each other. That means in between the first element as well as the third element of the pairs, cannot be related with the same relation, the relation of perpendicularity. So on the basis of that, we can very well say, or we can very well conclude that this particular relation is not transitive. So this is all about the parallelism, perpendicularity, and all those 5 relations, whatever we talked about. Now I just give you some very easy example considering a given set, I mean to say a finite set containing a few elements A, B, C, etc. I just show you. Consider A is equal to 1, 2, 3. I just take some relations defined over the set A. The first one I am taking R5. R5 means what? The relation 5. Relation 5 means the empty relation. This one is an empty relation. Second one I am going to discuss about A cross A. What is A cross A? The universal relation. Now we take some other element. Suppose I take R is equal to 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. That's it. Again, fourth one I just take R is equal to 1, 2, 2, 3, 1, 3. Fifth one we are going to consider R is equal to 1, 2, 2, 1. R is equal to 1, 2, 3, 1. Right? So, for making you understand about the transitive relation, I have just given 6 examples, more examples over the set A. So, one by one, just go on having a discussion about all of them. So, first of all, we just start right from the empty relation. Empty relation contains no element, as you all know very well. So unless or until there are some elements for contradiction, we say that the given relation is transitive. Whatever we just told you earlier while defining the transitive relation, right? So since the empty relation contains no element, that means we don't have any element for contradiction, and hence it will be transitive relation. So mind it, previously we had told you that empty relation cannot be a reflexive relation unless or until 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 are there, and empty relation contains no element, therefore it is not reflexive. It is symmetric because it contains no element. Unless or until xy is there, we are not bothered about what is that finding yx is lying in that particular relation or not. So the benefit of doubt gives you what? The relation to be considered as symmetric as well as transitive. So because this contains no element. Anyway, so far as the universal relation is concerned, A cross A, if you go on taking A cross A, you will be finding what? All those elements of A cross A would be over there in the universal relation. Naturally, that will be reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. You just go on watching yourself, that is quite easy. Now, the third one I have given 1, 1, 2, 2 and 3, 3. You know very well that this one is an identity relation as well as a reflexive relation as well as symmetric relation. Why is it symmetric? Because xy is there, the reverse is yx is there. The symmetry of every element is there because both of the components are equal to each other. Now, so far as the transitivity is concerned, whether it is transitive or not, suppose someone says you that 1 is related to 1. Yes, 1, 1 is there, that means 1 is related to what? 1. And again 1 is related to what? 1. So we have taken x, y and z, all of them as equal to 1. So what will be xz? Naturally 1 is related to 1. The same logic or argument can be given for 2, 2 as well as 3, 3. So this one is also transitive. So we see that the first one is transitive, second one is transitive, third one is also transitive. So far as the fourth one is concerned, 1, 2 is there. This is ending with what? 2. Now you have to check whether any pair starting with 2 or not. Yes, the second pair is starting with 2. So if it ends with 2 and it starts with 2, we have to check whether the first one is related to the last one or not. So 1, 2, 2, 3. So there must be what 1 comma 3 in that particular relation. If it is, it will be transitive. It is not, it won't be transitive. So we are observing very well that 1 3 is also lying over there. So far as 2 3 and 1 3 are concerned, 2 comma 3 is there. That means this pair is ending with 3, but no pair is starting with 3. That's why we are not concerned about looking for A and C. That means the first and the last one. Again, the same argument for 1 comma 3. No element, no pair element is starting with 3, so nothing for that. So for these two cases, transitivity is not contradicted. Only one case was there where you could have contradict the transitivity, and that is also not so over here. So this is transitive. Got it? 1 comma 2 is there, 2 comma 3 is there, and 1 comma 3 is also there. In the last one, you just be careful. A lot of guys make a blunder over there and saying that this is transitive, whereas it is not a transitive relation. 1 comma 2 is there, 2 comma 1 is there. So if this is x and this is y, this is y and z, naturally what is y z? That is 1 comma 1. So 1 comma 1 is there. So they say, sir, that yes, xz is there, therefore the relation is transitive. But if you go on writing the elements of R in some other order, suppose 2 1 is written first, maybe write it like this or not. I will just write it 2 1 and then 1 2. That means the second element is written put at the first place and the first one at the second place, and then again 1 1 I have just written. There is no any harm to write in any order of the given set. The elements could be written in any order in the given set. So we have written the same set in this way over here. Only the elements have been, changed their places. So 2 1 and 1 2 is there. In this case, x and z is what? 2 comma 2, and 2 comma 2 is absent in this case, and so we conclude that this is not transitive. So here you can say that transitivity is contradicted, and hence it is not transitive. So far as the last example is concerned, 1 comma 2 is there, 3 comma 2 is there. Now is it transitive or not? So if it is 1 comma 2, no pair is starting with 2, so no question of looking for xz. Again 3 comma 2, again ending with 2, and no one is starting with 2, so no need of checking whether A comma C, or means what, the first and third are related or not. Means what, we don't have enough element to contradict this transitivity of the relation, and hence with the help of the benefit of doubt, we may say that, we can say that this is none other than the transitive relation. So try to understand this one, and don't let others frame you for considering this type of example, for taking this type of examples, because a lot of guys are framed whenever this type of examples are there before them. Anyways, so this is now verbally I just say some examples. Suppose in the set of human beings staying in a family, or set of human beings staying at certain locality, and we talk about a few relations between human beings. Just suppose I just take is a teacher of. Okay, if I am a teacher and you are my student, I am A and you are B. I am talking about the relation between A and B is what is a teacher of. So if A is a teacher of B and B is a teacher of C, can A would be a teacher of C? Is it necessary? I don't think so. It may or it may not be. So this cannot be a transitive relation. Now you can understand by this example very clearly, because it's a teacher of may or may not be. But in this example, whatever I am going to recite, that will be very much clear that this relation cannot be transitive one. If A is a father of B, I am talking about the relation is a father of. A is a father of B and B is a father of C. It is possible. Then can A be a father of C? No, no one can say. In fact, A will be a grandfather of C, my dear. So the relation is a father of, or is a son of, or is a grandfather of. They are not, in fact, a transitive relation. But two relations are there between human beings, and those are frequently asked by someone, or the questions are also provided in the NCERT book itself. Those relations are is a husband of, is a wife of, and a lot of guys are framed over there, because is a husband of or is a wife of is not reflexive, because no one can be a husband of himself, or no one can be a wife of herself. Naturally, again it is not. That means both of them are not symmetric, because if A is a husband of B, B cannot be a husband of A. So, and A is a wife of B, so B cannot be a wife of A. So these two relations are not symmetric. So far as transitivity is concerned, if I say that A is a husband of, A is related to B, means what? A is a husband of, A is a male member and B is what? A female member. So A is a husband of B. Now, can we relate B with any C with the same relation? Is a husband of? I don't think so, because B is a female one and a female cannot be a husband of any person, whether male or female. So we do have a pair AB, but we cannot have a pair BC for AB. Naturally, we are not bothered about looking for AC in that case. Means what? The transitivity cannot be contradicted in this case. So just keep it in your mind. There's these two relations. What is that? Is a husband of as well as is a wife of, right? Both these relations, what? These two relations are always transitive, but it is neither reflexive nor symmetric. This is transitive. So far as empty relation is concerned, that is reflexive, symmetric as well as transitive. So a lot of examples we have done in your exam, in your what is that book. Also you will be getting a lot of examples. Let those topics, whatever is there in the very first unit to be discussed. Then afterwards I will be doing some important problems from them. So in the succeeding video, you just go on watching the succeeding one. I am going to discuss about the equivalence relation. So here up to we have just done the transitive relation. Thank you very much for watching this video. Now just go on watching the succeeding video I am just producing just now for equivalence relation. Thank you.